Hi everyone, it's me, Ingrid, and welcome to Tarot and the Moons. Let's get started. So, on May 26th, we have a new moon, and my focus in providing this offering is really to tap into the importance of emotions as it's activated through the cycles of the moons. And emotions are a very powerful tool of manifestation. And when we feel a deep emotional connection to our desires, it can actually produce a more potent energy for attracting what we want. As you know, I've introduced this concept that our emotional matrix is actually swinging between both Vedic and tropical astrological placements of the moon. In Vedic or sidereal astrology, this new moon is actually in the sign of Taurus, whereas in tropical astrology, they place the new moon in the sign of Gemini. So for me, our emotional matrix, both collectively and individually, is actually swinging between the emotional tones of these two signs. So, what are the emotional tones, right? The emotional tone of a moon in Taurus is about contentment, attachment, sensual pleasures, security seeking, emotional steadiness, and resistance to change. Whereas the emotional tone of the moon in Gemini would be about curiosity, restlessness, playfulness, emotional detachment, nervousness or anxiety, perhaps even mood swings, right? So Taurus are emotions that are slow, deep, stabilizing. Whereas Gemini's emotions are quick, uh, light, and changeable. On a deeper, perhaps more esoteric level, Taurus channels emotional grounding in order to tap into spiritual illumination, whereas Gemini transforms the emotions into soulful communication. During my meditation, and you all know that I go into this deep meditation to try to pick up a word that can encapsulate the energy of the new moon. During my meditation, the word that came out was create. So, in esoteric astrology, which has been my focus of interpretation lately, especially with the astrological signs, creation for esoteric astrology is not just a physical creation, it's actually a soul expression. So for Taurus, which is a Venus ruled sign, form building, beauty, and transmutation um, happened because of a desire to manifest the soul's purpose. And Taurus tends to create on the exterior, right? Art, beauty, material comfort, sanctuary, right? It's very homey. Sensory experiences, which is about music, food, smells, stability and values, which is about systems and practices that bring some sort of inner peace, and then sacred form. All of that for the Taurian is to create a light form within ourselves. So the purpose for the Taurus energy is to transform our desire into some sort of a divine will through inner refinement, right? So it seeks this emotional grounding, it seeks this emotional comfort in order to illuminate the light within form. Of course, the shadow aspects are always about attachments to material pleasures, but when we speak of this Taurian emotional theme, it is about the light of the soul being utilized to dispel darkness, and it seeks to sort of penetrate matter, right? The physical realm. It seeks to penetrate that and go beyond that using the frequencies of light and love. And so with a Taurus moon, it's actually asking us to nurture our emotions and stabilize our emotions in order to awaken our inner light. In contrast, when we see Gemini, which is a sign that is ruled by Mercury, this is about bridging. This is about building. This is about mind weaving and communication between worlds. So Gemini likes to create, that's the word that came up for me in my meditation. Gemini likes to create words, ideas, dialogue, right? Network, connections, stories, symbols, and also dynamic movements like dance, breath work, ritual motions, mental clarity through diagrams, maps, guides, right? These are all things that Gemini creates. And the spiritual creation field for the Gemini is to be a living bridge, right? So the purpose of the Gemini moon, the emotional engagement, is to actually harmonize the dualities within ourselves in order to use the communication that is birthed, right? That is born, in order to use that communication as a bridge to higher understandings, right? Of course, in its shadow aspects, this Gemini is about scattered emotions, detachment from depth, over analyzing, too much mental noise, right? That can be the shadow aspect of Gemini. But the spiritual lesson of the Gemini in Moon is for us to have soulful connections through right speech, right thought, right? Right communication. So it's an interplay between our soul's communication and outer world duality communications. The role of that moon, of the moon in Gemini, is to transform our mental acuity and perhaps even our emotional inconsistencies into spiritual synthesis and divine communication. Okay. So remember, with a new moon, we are being tuned into our own inner power points. So new moon phases are an ideal time to set our intentions, see a new vision for ourselves, or start something new that expands as the moonlight expands into the next full moon cycle. The new moon is a perfect time for us to really be precise with what we want and what we desire, because the moon here between these two energies of Taurus and Gemini is actually very determined to showcase our efforts to deliver the efforts that we put into creating, that's that word again that came up, creating the world that we really truly desire. And in this sense, this particular moon is quite obedient and loyal to what we desire. It's really, really strong, guys. So don't forget to activate your intentions for this particular new moon by making decisions as to what attitude you're going to actually change within yourself, right? This is the esoteric astrology dialogue is about that inner soul connection. So remember, your intentions are about attitudes and habits. So make a decision to change and create a new attitude, a new habit in order to activate whatever intentions you're actually setting for this new moon. All right? Let's go on to the next slide and let's see who the players are, the tarot players are for this particular new moon cycle. All right, so here we go. I am introducing to you the players for the tarot players for this new moon. We've got the Empress, the Hierophant, and Justice. They are all ruled by the planet Venus. These two are the only ones that are really Taurian in nature, which is the Empress and the Hierophant. But just keep in mind that Justice, this Libra energy, is also ruled by Venus. So, just very briefly, when we're speaking about the Empress energy, we are speaking about pregnancy, fertility, motherhood, sensuality, nurturing, love, healing, harmony, nature, of course. When we're speaking about, oh, and it's more challenging, we're speaking about insecurities, lack of growth, sometimes overbearing tendencies, and disharmony. When we speak of the Hierophant, which has been very active, right, in our collective consciousness, this Pope energy, um, we are speaking about traditional institutions such as the church, Catholic Church, churches. We're speaking about traditional values. We're speaking about conventional values, conformity, commitment, knowledge and belief systems as well. And it's more challenging. We're speaking about challenging tradition, unconventional lifestyles, unconventional relationships, nonconformity, right? And lastly, here, when we're speaking about justice, we are speaking about karmic justice, consequences, cause and effect, contracts, legalities, settlements, decision making, law and order. Okay, so those are all of the energies of this Taurian um, moon energy, new moon energy that the Vedic astrologers say the moon is located in. Now, let's pull out the energies for this Gemini. It's the Magician and the Lovers. These two are ruled by Mercury. Keep in mind that the Hermit is also ruled by Mercury, but I'm not including it because I feel sometimes the Hermit has more of a Chiron energy, and I'm just not seeing that the wound playing out so much for this particular new moon. So when we're dealing with the Magician, we're dealing about action, power, manifestation, skill, magic, of course, work, self-employment, because the magician always works by themselves. A smooth talker, someone with willpower, creative visualization, and it's more challenging. We're talking about blocked creativity, not learning from the past, weaknesses. Some people say that in its more challenging state, the magician can be manipulative. And then we have over here the Lover's card. This is about choices. This is about obviously love, soulmates, temptation sometimes, perfect unions, relationships, romance, desires, sexual connections, shared values, right? And it's more challenging. It's about disharmony, distrust, imbalance, conflict, disconnection, lack of accountability, disunion, etc. And this is representing the field of Gemini, which the tropical Western astrology is attributing this new moon to. These are air signs, and the previous one were earth signs. So we have a very grounded energy here with earth and air with this new moon. All right, that was really quick. I'm trying to make this shorter. Let's go on to your readings. All right, so here we go. I just wanted to reiterate, we are, our emotional stream is going between Taurus and Gemini. And when I'm doing these readings, you can definitely look at both your Vedic astrological placement or your Western astro. I look at both actually and see what's going on. So let's say you are a Taurus rising in Vedic astrology, but you're in Aries in tropical. astrology, I would look at the readings for both of those signs and see what sort of manifests for you, what guidance you get, etc., because it does fluctuate and it's between both. And I am focusing on the moon signs, but if you want, you can look at your ascendant, your sun sign, and your moon sign. Again, I look at all three and I see what stories develop. I do journal. I suggest you do the same and just follow through and see what's manifesting here for you. See what's coming through. Okay, so for our oracle, we are using the familiar field oracle. I love the messages. It's really simple. And I'm going to be choosing one of the tarot cards that you see that I just previously discussed. And I'll be using, I don't think I introduced it in the previous slide, but it's the Playful Heart Tarot, and it's kittens. So for those of you that think I'm just a dog person, I'm not. I love my kitty cats. I'm just allergic to them, so I can't have them. But yeah, so I will be using that, and as always, I'm going to begin with Gemini. And then I'm going to end with Taurus. Okay, so I'm going to move forward and then end with Taurus, but we're going to begin with the Gemini frequency. And already we have here self-reliance. So it's important for you, Geminis, in this new moon to be in the space of self-reliance when you're starting something new. And this new thing that you're starting could be a business or even taking care of your body, taking care of yourself. I am gravitating here towards Empress, right? This is self-care, self-nurturing. I almost feel like this is your inner child, right? Like even take care of the inner child aspects. And let's see what guidance you're getting. Play, gather, joy. So how do you take care of yourself? Play, gather with other people, be in the spirit of joy. Beautiful. Next we have, oops, Cancer babies. Oh, I should have placed them differently because all these cards are going to get messed up. Um, we have the Empress energy. Wow, beautiful, because this is actually one of our major arcanas, right? So we've got this beautiful Empress energy kind of coming through for those of you with Cancer, Moon, Sun, or Rising. I do want to just stick with the Empress energy for you. I usually don't do that, but I just feel very strongly that this is about your resources. I was just looking to the side and realized that this may have been off camera. I hope the previous one was not off the camera like this. But yeah, this energy of the Empress energy just feels like it's really about you being resourceful. Like use the resources that you already have, right? That you already have at your disposal for this particular new moon. And also be picky about who you let into your garden. Intensity, vigilance, and speed. Yeah, I was picking up on that vigilance part. Um, be careful about who you share your resources with. And that's for the Cancer babies. Next we have, oh, I don't want to take these away. Again, this is just going to be a little messed up. And I don't know if you guys can hear this, but my neighbor just decided to play really loud music. I hope you can't hear it. So what do we have? Wow, Leo, the world. The world is part of what you're manifesting this for this new moon is something that's culminating, something that you've been wanting to conclude, something that you've been wanting to manifest. I'm gonna pull here the magician energy, if I can pull these cards out, the magician energy, because you pulled it off. You pulled off the magic, right? So this is for sun, moon, or rising Leos. You have pulled out the magic for this new moon. It's really time for you to celebrate. I feel like it's just time for you to celebrate. And what do we have here? We have support, friendship, and compliance. I feel like celebrate with your friends. Let your friends know that you've accomplished something, that you've pulled something off, that you've created magic, that you're ready to go on to the next step. That's a beautiful one for Leos. Next, we have Virgos, and we've got this Three of Cups energy. You know what's interesting? Were these all, oh no, this we've got two major arcanas and a royal house. But this is the first energy that we have so far, which is this energy of emotions, right? You being reserved with your emotions. Communicate what you need to communicate, but be reserved with your emotions. Don't let it spill out. Don't let other people know that you're upset, that you are concerned, that you are, etc. So I'm pulling the lovers here because this is a choice point for you. Whatever's happening with this new moon for you, Virgos, this is a choice point. Make the loving choice for yourself and don't feel like you have to judge another because they don't understand you, because they don't get you, etc. Don't stay in that field. Keep those energies to yourself and rather make the loving choice. Express what you need to express and then just release it. Don't expect others to sort of, support that energy. Use your strength, authority, and courage. Yeah, this for the Virgos feels like it's time to communicate feelings, which is probably not a space that you're very comfortable doing, especially because you are expecting a reaction, from others. So it takes courage to keep your communication in the frequency of love here. Next, we have Libra babies. Oh my God, I can't believe I have to slide this out. Libras, you've got straightforward thoughts, straightforward thinking, straightforward engagement here. I am being called to the Justice card because the Justice usually has that strong sword, although here the sword is down, right? You see the sword, it's down. So don't use your sword. Just let people know what your ideas are. And it does look like you have a something to balance here, right? Something to have an sort of equilibrium engagement for those of you with a Libra here, which is so perfect because this is your card, right? Libra card is justice. But be straightforward with your communication and yeah, just be straightforward with your communication, your ideas. Voice, look at that. Use your voice. Progress, cleansing. For me, I was picking up the voice. I was picking up straightforward communication. Next, we have Scorpios. We've got the King of Cups energy. This is a very sort of emotional energy, but it's also very reserved. I am being drawn here to the Hierophant. It's a very reserved energy. Sometimes when I see this combination, it's like you're testing other people to see if they're worthy of your love. Try not to do that. Share your knowledge with the frequency of love because you're here to literally inspire others. Truth, influence, and communication. Yeah. Share your knowledge, share your truth with others for this new moon. They're going to listen to you, and you're actually here to somehow communicate that level of truth. Sagittarius babies, sun, moon, or rising. Oops. We've got a waiting period. We've got a waiting game here for you. So it's just not the right time to make a move. It's not the right time to sort of engage. I am going to be pulled here to the Empress energy, not only because this is a Pentacles and an Earth energy, but also because it's about timing. The Empress is about timing. Usually it's 9 months of gestation, 9 months of it is a waiting period before we can birth something new. Okay. So that's for the Sagittarius. This is not the time to go out there and sort of start this project that you put a lot of faith in. Rather, it's a timing issue. So be patient. Look at this. Be graceful, balanced, and vibrant in the interim while you're waiting. These are the qualities that need to be activated. That it almost feels like these are the qualities that you have to acquire before you can sail. Grace, balance, and vibrancy. Capricorn babies, you've got this Three of Swords, profound thinking. Sometimes for me, the Three of Swords is about, and I am being drawn here to the Magician, it is about thinking differently, but creating magic from the communication, creating magic from the new thought pattern, creating a new sort of aspect to present things to others. And it does require magic. It does require focus, and it does require a new skill set that you don't have right now, but that you are going to be acquiring during this new moon season. Cycle, opportunity, distress. I feel that it's a cycle. I feel that this is about a cycle of learning for you that's coming up. Next, we have Aquarius. We've got that King of Pentacles, really strong. It feels like I'm being drawn over here to the Hierophant. It feels like there's um, information that you have that it almost feels like you must share it with the world. Like it cannot be held anymore. You must share with the world how you got the information, how you were able to bring down the stars and share that with your followers. Okay? Wildness, leadership, and kingship. I think this is about leadership and kingship. I think this is about you showing the qualities of your leadership by sharing in kingship with others, how you were able to acquire certain knowledge. This knowledge is about business. It is about money. Okay? And sometimes when we need money, it's also a good idea to express that. Next, we have Pisces. Pisces energy. We have sustained satisfaction here. This is a Nine of Cups. So this is about your family, business being, and I'm being drawn to the Lover's card, your family, business finally being calm, finally being nurtured, finally having an emotional connection you with you. So the Lover's card, this is about that union with the family. Transformation, beauty, and hope. Hope, that's what I was picking up. There's this thing of the family finally being in that space of satisfaction with you. So there's hope in the relationships with your family. Next, we have Aries babies. We've got this Four of Pentacles. This is about potentiality. This is about magic. I'm being drawn to the Magician. This is about you. Sometimes people feel that in order to feel grounded, secure, safe, they have to acquire a lot of money or a lot of finance. You don't. You need enough to live, not over the top, right? Just having enough. I used to have this mantra or something that I said about money, and I can't remember, but it went something like, I have more than enough to live with or to live. I have more than enough to live. Like, say those mantras, because this is about you sort of curtailing your potentiality, curtailing your magic because you feel like you need more of something and you don't. You just have to be in the space of believing, and you have to acquire new skill sets, and you have to have discipline. But you don't need more things, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't need more things. Um, Curiosity, autonomy, magic. There's that magician that came through. But I feel like it's that like be curious about your life. Be in that space of curiosity, and you're going to see the potentiality of things manifesting out of thin air for you. Those were the Aries sun, moon, or rising. And finally, never least, we've got the Taurian babies. Wow, beyond expectations. Taurus sun, moon, or rising, whatever is manifesting for you for this new moon, it's beyond your expectations. So when I see this card, and I am being drawn to the Empress here. I sometimes tell people, don't be so detailed about your intentions, because if you're detailed about your intentions, you might actually inadvertently have something incredibly fantastical just pass by you because you had another vision in mind. Allow the miraculous. It's like the Empress energy when when mothers give birth, you don't know what you're going to have. You don't know if you're going to, as hard as you try to be the best mother in the world, you don't know if your kid's going to be an ungrateful little you know what, or is going to be completely grateful, completely loving. You just don't know. And so it's kind of like the same energy. Be in that space of, let's move this forward. Let's launch this. And by the way, this does mean that you will receive a lot of money as well. Let's launch it and see where it goes, but don't be expecting the outcome. Fertility, nurture, abundance. I was feeling here something about giving birth, like fertility, something about you giving birth. Maybe it's a new project, maybe it's a literal birth, I don't know, but just releasing those expectations and being the space of abundance with the present and just unleashing into the world the magic that you have to offer. All right, that was as short as I've ever done it. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, set your intentions, which is all about your attitudes. And happy new moon, everyone. Bye.